Growing up, I learned not to unpack completely. There were always boxes that stayed sealed, stacked in corners like they were waiting for the next move. My father wasn't a bad man. He worked hard, but he never stayed in one place very long. Something would always happen. A disagreement, a conflict, a sudden decision to leave. And so we moved. Each new house felt temporary, like we were only borrowing it from someone else. But one house felt like it was borrowing us. It was small. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a detached garage that leaned slightly to one side, like it had grown tired of standing upright. The rent was suspiciously cheap. Even as a child, I understood that meant something. The landlord didn't explain much, only that someone had died there within the last few years. Not how, not where in the house, just that it had happened. My father didn't care. A deal was a deal. We moved in within days, and the house began moving with us. At first, the noises were subtle. Drawers sliding open when no one was in the kitchen. Cabinet doors shifting slightly and then closing. The bathroom faucet turning on for a few seconds and then stopping. Not violently, not dramatically. Just casually. Like someone else lived there and assumed we knew. There was nothing overtly threatening about it. No shattered glass, no broken furniture. Just the quiet implication that we weren't alone. So we ignored it. That's what you do when you can't afford to leave. The front door was strange. It required a key on both sides. If it was locked, you couldn't exit without the key. It felt like something you'd see in an old building designed to keep people in rather than out. We didn't think much about that either, until the keys disappeared. We were still surrounded by half-unpacked boxes when it happened. Stress was already high. My father searched everywhere. The tension in the house thickened quickly. Accusations flew. Frustration filled the rooms. And then, the keys dropped onto the living room floor. Not from a table, not from a shelf. From the air. They struck the hardwood directly in front of the couch. There had been nothing above that space, nothing that could have held them. The sound echoed louder than it should have. My father stared at them for a long time before picking them up. He didn't say anything after that. He just left for work. The house felt satisfied. From that point on, the keys became involved. Every evening they were placed carefully in the same spot. Every morning they were somewhere else. Inside a sealed box that hadn't been opened since the move. Wedged into a tiny handle hole as if someone had deliberately pushed them there. Balanced on the bathroom sink. Hidden inside a shoe. It wasn't random. It felt playful or mocking. Sometimes we laughed about it. That was before the stomping started. It happened late, always late, when the house had settled, when the air felt heavy and thick. Heavy footsteps would move slowly through the hallway outside our bedrooms. Not quick, not subtle. Measured, intentional. Back and forth. Back and forth. The sound wasn't like normal walking. It was heavier than my father's steps. Slower, as if something large was pacing and thinking. The first few nights, I buried myself under blankets. Eventually, fear turns into anger. One night, I shouted into the darkness. The footsteps stopped immediately. The silence that followed felt unnatural, like the house was holding its breath. Then something ran. Not walked, ran. Full force down the hallway toward my bedroom. The impact against my door shook the frame. 3 violent strikes against the wood. The sound was so loud, it rattled the walls. My body froze. My father woke up from his room, calling out from a distance that suddenly felt too far away. I couldn't move. Something about that moment changed me. A wave of nausea hit so suddenly and so violently that I barely made it halfway down the hall before losing control. Humiliation mixed with terror. My father tried to comfort me, told me I could sleep in his room whenever I felt unsafe. But the house had already learned something important. It knew I could hear it. The pacing continued for months, always at the same time, always outside the bedroom doors, never entering, like it was respecting a boundary or waiting for one to be crossed. The final incident happened after my father's girlfriend had begun staying over more often. She didn't believe in any of it. She thought the noises were plumbing, old foundations, settling beams. The night it happened, there had been tension between them before bed. Nothing dramatic, just quiet frustration. The house was silent for a long time that night. Too silent. Then, in the early hours, a scream shattered everything. She was dragged out of the bedroom, pulled by the ankle, across the floor, into the hallway. She didn't see what grabbed her. She only felt the pressure around her leg and the unmistakable force